Clouds roll by. Reeling is what they say. Or is it just my way? Wind blows by. Low light. Sidetrack. Low light. Can't see my tracks. You're set way back. Can I be here all alone? Clear a path to my home. Blood runs dry. Books and jealousy tell me wrong. All I feel is calm. Voice blows by. Low light. Car crash. Low light. Can't wear my mask. You're first, my last. Welcome to another very tired episode of the Supplemental Apocalypse. And congratulations for choosing the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. I was thinking about a few things. Let us begin. The crazy guy in sunglasses has been yelling about the apocalypse and the Antichrist for 10 years on and off. And now he's really yelling about it. And I was thinking, all the things we've seen before our eyes, and we're just going to pretend they didn't happen, right? That's what we've been doing, right? The media, so many out there, so many afraid to use the word Nazi or Reich, when everyone should be using those words. Now that's more obvious, the Nazism, the Reich that's being built before your fucking eyes in the literal image of Nazi Germany. It's a religion to these people. I'm not fucking kidding. And you should know that by now. That's the obvious part. What's not obvious is the spiritual part. If there's 30 people on earth that truly understand what's going on right now, I'd be fucking surprised. Because everyone lets all that kooky bullshit in and lets their biases in. So it's thinking of evidence of the spiritual and evidence of the Nazi part. So I was thinking about what they've displayed before us. Well, before the election, when Leon was making his rise to right-wing infamy, MAGA fucking infamy, after pretending he gave a shit about the environment and this and that and that. No, he just wanted to get rich like his daddy and not have to work for it. That's all. And he wanted to serve the devil. That's why he got to be richest man on earth. How do I know that? Remember, was it last Halloween around that time or something? Leon wore a crimson night outfit from what looked like the empire of, I don't know, Vlad the Impaler. That's what the armor looked like. From that era, from that Reich. And right on the chest was Baphomet. I know. All these super rich people, super successful people that you see in the suits, and they're trying to set the example for everyone. They're hypocritical, pathetic asses. Why would they put Baphomet or something like that on their person? They're all about business and normalcy and reality, and they're the boss, right? They must be the all-knowing, all-wise one, the one to listen to, the one that's got it all fucking figured out. No, they do an act before people. They're a small child in an adult's body. Every single goddamn one of them. Because beneath that facade they put on for the rest of us, the workplace, corporate, I know everything, I am God facade, behind that, behind closed doors, they're doing shit like worshiping Satan. And I know that sounds cliche and fucked up to say, right? But this time it's real, son. That's the difference between me and everybody else. That spouts this type shit. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. Or are they doing it for the wrong reasons? Many of these people get to where they are because it is rare that God blesses someone with great wealth. I just want to let you know that. Many of them, by nefarious means and deals they have made, literal deals, son. How do I know again? The richest man on earth, for Halloween, decides to glorify and honor Baphomet. And I know everyone thinks it's all fun and games, playing that Satan-worshipping bullshit down on peasant level. That ain't what I'm talking about, son. I'm talking about really doing it. How do I know Leon really did it? Richest man on earth, Baphomet crest, total douchebag mentality of a 9-year-old boy. That's not an exaggeration. Maturity. Grew up in a Nazi privileged bubble, never had to work a hard day in his life, but he gets to wear a t-shirt and jeans and pretend like he's a regular guy in all his little CEO positions and walk in like he knows one thing that he's talking about. Never does, son, never did, and never will. Why? He didn't learn, son. He just wanted to be rich. Dropped out of college, wanted to be just like his daddy. I just want to be rich. I don't want to actually learn anything. I don't want to be an effective leader. I just want to put my hand out for more fucking welfare to keep my satanic blessed businesses going. Leon wore the Baphomet. That told me all I needed to fucking know, because let me tell you something, son. I ain't here to debate you, hear your opinion, because I know a million times more than you. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to say I don't have time for it. When the richest man in the world is wearing Baphomet on his fucking chest before the whole world to see, there's a reason for that, son. It ain't just by happen fucking stance. He didn't just pull that costume out of Party City, son. He had that tailor fucking made. Everything is contrived with Leon. Every t-shirt, every pair of jeans, pair of underwear, shoes, everything calculated. to hide the fat, to hide this, to look this certain way. Nothing is happenstance with these cunts. And there's a reason he got to be richest man on earth. Because who he pays tribute to, it is that fucking simple. No need to fucking debate it. I'm telling you, I'm trying to lay some wisdom on you, son. I've been trying for 10 years. A lot of you still want to debate, though. You can't acknowledge that you may have been on the wrong side of it. For your entire fucking life, maybe. That's your goddamn problem, son. I ain't here to counsel you or help you see the fucking light. I'm telling you the truth. You do what the fucks you want with it. That's up to you, son. No one can do it for you. Not even Jesus. So, when the richest man on earth wears the Baphomet crest on his Halloween costume, that ain't for nothing, son. That's a window into his psyche, into what he's about, into what's going on behind closed doors that we don't see when he's out in the t-shirt and jeans, acting like I'm the regular guy CEO that grew up in Nazi South Africa with my daddy's emerald mine money. Yeah, that ain't Leon. Leon's the douchebag who wants to be Nazi, who wants to be Caesar of the world just like Donnie. Who idolizes people like Hitler. How do I know? He made Grok idolize Hitler and he got caught red fucking handed. He had to shut it down for a good minute. That's how bad he fucked up. That's how much of an open fucking window you got to see into his head. Evidence of the spiritual. They all into some form of it. All the highest people. And by highest, I mean richest. Not Joe Biden. He's a peasant compared to these people. What they have. And what they went after. They made their life about that. Chasing that king of the earth fucking fantasy. Joe didn't. That's the difference. I know you can't see it, and by the time you do, it'll be too late. That's your problem, son. Like I said, I'm just laying the truth on you. Do what you want with it. You want to run with Vlad talking points, RNC talking points, Donnie talking points, till you hit the edge of the abyss? That's on you. I can't make anybody do nothing. I ain't here to save you either. That's for Jesus, son. But you gotta want it. It's like you want to go, if you're a drug addict, you want to quit drugs. You gotta want it, son. No one can do it for you. So the richest man in the world was wearing a Baphomet crest. That's evidence of the spiritual, concrete, granite fucking evidence. Greasy Pete giving speeches about the Antichrist. I mean, you couldn't... Is this a movie we're living in? Imagine people, 2 or 3 people on Earth yelling that he's the Antichrist. And you have the guy that funded him for the first campaign, Greasy Pete Thale, funded him a little bit for the second campaign and is now some type of right-hand man as far as the police state that they're all dreaming of. Gotten billions of welfare from you, the United Kingdom. Leon's gotten billions in welfare. They're not but welfare queens. They'd be nothing without welfare. The Palantir business was, their only customer was the CIA at one point. That's your money, son. That's all it is. It's just a handout. That's all it is. Greasy Pete feels the need, as I'm yelling to you people, and whoever will fucking listen, Donnie's the fucking Antichrist. Beware. Don't walk that path with him. If it's the last thing you do, don't walk that path with them. At the same time, you got one of Donnie's right-hand Nazi financier straight from South Africa with the Nazi haircut and all, baby. As if he came off the assembly line. This guy's going around giving speeches that Greta Thunberg's the Antichrist because it can't be a conservative, right? Right, idiots? You keep thinking that all the way to the abyss, son. All I can say is I'm glad I'm not you. I'm glad I didn't let my bias blind me to see who it is. I saw a clip of a video, Kirk Dumbass Cameron. I used to love Growing Pains. Great fucking show. Kirk did great. Everyone did great. Then he went born again psycho Christian. I am a Christian and I'm saying that. He was talking about, this is how lost these people are. Are you ready for this? He doesn't like what Trump is doing. Because, are you ready, son? He's worried about a future president of a different party persecuting Christians in the future, using what Donnie's doing as the way to do it. The irony of that. So it's okay for Donnie to do it now. The problem for the Christians is, or the Kirk Cameron kind of Christians. What if a liberal president, the Antichrist, persecutes Christians? He didn't say the Antichrist, but I knew exactly what the fuck he meant. 'Cause he that stupid. You people, just because they told you it was the Jesus Party since 1945 and before, just because they told you you're on the right side of it, just because they hold up a Bible and they say Jesus, because you're fucking stupid and they know it works, doesn't mean it's real, son. Just because they say Jesus was a capitalist who sold fucking t-shirts and would so be down with taking money from the poor and pull yourself up by the bootstraps unless you were born rich, then it's okay to heap money upon you. And healthcare, you're on your own. That's what Jesus stood for, right, you fucking morons destined for the lake? Because they told you it did, right? No, asshole. Dead wrong. You're of the devil if you believe any of that. Think for yourself, son. For once in your life. Not that you'll see this thanks to the adjudicated criminal, Google. And their censorship. Because even 60,000 views full of their own bots is too much for them to let me have. That's how dangerous I am, son. And not dangerous in a violent kind of way. Dangerous as in, my words crack the very paradigm you live in. And you can't handle it. Be ye fucking CEO, imp, viewer, whoever. I break psyches. That's why. And again, that's not boasting. I was given that by somebody. That ability. That's why there's no alternative. We just got to shut it. He's too effective. He does it out of a car. Get 60,000 bots to come to his channel because that's how dangerous he is to the imp, all of you cunts. Don't worry, though. We'll see who has his hand over the censorship button at the lake, son, when everybody wants to open their mouth. We'll see. And remember, when I say that, I've been right about damn near everything, son. And again, that's not of me. No man could be that accurate about the future without a little help from somewhere. And my ego ain't too big to admit that, son. I don't even know how I got into all that. Let me go back to Greasy Pete. Again, as I'm yelling about the Antichrist and all this shit, Greasy Pete's going around giving speeches to throw you off the trail of the Antichrist, saying it must be a liberal, like Greta Thunberg. And point number 2, there's only 2 main points he really makes in his garbled rambling. He is not a good speaker, my God. Horrible. Because he cares about all this too much. It's got him too antsy. This is their big moment. I'm here to tell you, spoiler, they will fail miserably. There will be no 1,000-year Reich. There will be no switching bodies. I don't care how much Satan and money you throw at it, son. You will have your reign for a short time, all of you. Then it's over, and you don't exist anymore. I promise you. That's not an if, son. That's a fucking when. So you got this, one of the richest people that's taken billions in fucking welfare, Greasy Pete, going around making 2 points in 2025 as the Antichrist is in office and he's helping him. Saying it must be a liberal. Hitler was a socialist. It must be Greta Thunberg. It wouldn't be someone like me, Greasy Pete, a tech guy. Or our movement. No, it's liberalism and Greta Thunberg. That's of the devil. If you don't love AI, if you don't worship AI, that's where eventually it'll go. Then you're of the Antichrist. Pete also made that new point. But his main 2 points are, it's got to be Greta Thunberg to be the Antichrist because she's an evil liberal girl. And Pete doesn't like girls. And maybe, since that Antichrist thing is good, there must be a road where we can keep the Antichrist. He doesn't say it this way, but I know what he means. Where we can keep the Antichrist, but avoid that whole pesky judgment Armageddon thing. We don't like that. So we want to be about peace. We don't want to be about war. That's why Greasy Pete is saying this, right? No. Greasy Pete knows he's one of the right-hand men to the Antichrist. Greasy Pete knows where he's going. The imp knows where he's going. Donnie knows where he's going. Leon knows where he's going. And they don't want to go there, son. And I don't blame them. Guess they should have taken a different path in their existence then, huh? I'm sure that's what Leon would say to one of the thousands of people he fucking took a chainsaw to their job. Not that I should care, because government employees have sure fucked me over a bunch. And they didn't give a flying fuck about it, but again, son, I ain't you. I'm a different thing. His other point is we have to avoid Armageddon, but Antichrist's cool. We need him. Even though it's Greta Thunberg. There's got to be a road between the Antichrist and Armageddon. As if they're 2 separate things. Again, I did the lesson with you. We looked at the scripture. They are not 2 separate things. If Donnie's the Antichrist, it only leads one place, baby. I'm sorry. Armageddon and the lake. For those of the Reich. And especially, son, for the imp, for Donnie Shitbags, the Antichrist, and the false prophet, if that's Leon or whoever it is. You're all the same team, Leon and Greasy Pete. So all of you going in, I'm very sorry. You chose this path in life. You chose to make the deal with who you made it with. You chose the losing team, just like the maggots down here. They'll think they won till the plague starts, son. And ooh, them plagues, boy. You don't want no part of that. Going to your cross at the hands of the Reich. You'll want to make that choice. You don't want any part of the plagues and wrath of God. One more time before I move on. I've already wasted so much time. I don't know why I say all these things. Just come to me. I'm sorry. I don't plan on saying them. So again, as I'm yelling for 10 years about the Antichrist, and especially since Donnie got back in, you've got this Pete Thale guy giving lectures on the Antichrist and making 3 points. Greta Thunberg is the Antichrist or someone like her, because it can't be a conservative, right, Roops? To throw you off the path that the conservative movement is a fascist movement and Pete's part of it and it's all going to subjugate you right now. It is subjugating you right now. And I've noticed right-wing politics have been trying to lay that Marxist, communist, socialist label on the liberals of society in America since I was born and before. That tells me they're a movement that are aware of their own fascism, what their movement really is. Therefore, they point the finger at the other side and say, no, they're the socialists, they're the commies. Meanwhile, Donnie's taking percentages of businesses. No, son, the right wing were the communists the entire time, trying to impose their will upon everyone else. However they could. The right wing were the fascists the entire time. That's why all of you on the right pointed at liberals and said socialist, Marxist, communist, fascist, because you are those things. When it's Leon, when it's Greasy Pete, when it's one of your rich friends, socialism, fine. When Donnie wants to extort a company, say, give me a percentage, communism, fine. When Donnie wants to deploy the military against us, fascism, fine. That's why the right wing pointed that finger at all of us and you. Not that I'm a member of the Democratic Party, but that's not what I'm saying. Not that I would be ashamed to be. I'm not saying that either. Because their platform is way closer to Christ, son. Look what the right wing has manifest before you. I can't see a bit of Christ in that, son. Just because they told you it was for all these years, don't mean you're smart, and don't mean that's reality. I'm sorry. I know you're all loaded up with the talking points, so many of you out there. Guess what? They're all worthless. And they'll cost you your soul. And that's what I'm here to tell you. Been trying to tell you for 10 years. One last time, baby. The rest of you that never gave any of your soul to this, I'm here to guide you through it. So one more time, because these things I was thinking about today, I find them rather fascinating. As I'm yelling this stuff to you, and I'm getting censored to the point where I won't even be allowed on the internet anymore. That's how dangerous I am to these people. People making millions and billions of dollars cannot even let me speak on camera. That's how scared of my ass they are, son. Greasy Pete going around, a guy who grew up in Nazi South Africa just like Leon, giving speeches that the Antichrist must be a liberal because conservatives can't be evil, cannot be of the devil. That's what he's trying to say. To throw you off of him, Leon, Donnie, and others. Literally. It's like a movie. We must find a road between the Antichrist and Armageddon because Greasy Pete loves the idea of the Antichrist and satanic rule and him being in charge and all that. He does not love the idea when Jesus Christ himself comes back and turns him into tomato paste. Doesn't like that part. I don't blame you, Pete. I'm sorry you're going to have to endure it. And you'll deserve it for what you made me and the rest of us out here endure. How many of us will die because of you, son? So I'm sorry I won't shed a tear for you when Christ makes light work of you. How do I know you know that's going to happen? Because you're out there trying to throw people off the trail that you are part of the literal movement of the Antichrist, Dottie Shitbags. And you're trying to put some weird gospel out there that you want to avoid the judgment part, but not the fun part. Well, that's what everybody wants, Pete. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And you know that. That's why you're sweating all the time. If you don't like AI, you are of the Antichrist. You are a minion of the Antichrist. Greasy Pete said that. The Antichrist must be someone like Greta Thunberg. Greasy Pete said that. There must be a road between the Antichrist and Armageddon. We need to avoid this whole Armageddon thing. Greasy Pete said that. Well, wouldn't the Antichrist's right-hand man or one of his right-hand men want to avoid that judgment? Since it's a spiritual movement as well. Yeah. Wouldn't that be in the movie if there was one? Yeah. As I watched Greasy Pete do this, I felt it lent more credence to what I'm saying. Donnie's the Antichrist, this is the apocalypse, and the end is coming soon. For real this time. Armageddon is a last desperate attempt. From what I gather of scripture, it appears that these forces, they either know Christ is coming somehow, or Christ comes back, chills on the top of a mountain for a while, and they assemble on the field to try and take him on, because they realize we got to try and take a half-court shot, Hail Mary pass from the 1-yard line down the other end of the field. That's what Armageddon is. It's the 3-year-old assembling against his father, ready to try and kill him or hurt him. The 3-year-old isn't capable of that physically in any way, shape, or form, and never will be until he's older. What I'm trying to say is that battlefield full of men, I guess, they might as well be a 3-year-old trying to fight their father. That's about the same chance they have. So from what I read you yesterday, it almost felt like Christ comes back, but he doesn't attack right away. And these people that have subjugated the world and did whatever, Donnie and his minions, they know he's back. Which means what for them? Oh, they about to go in the lake real soon. They don't want that. They like what they got going here. They had this whole 1,000-year Reich planned, like Adolf did. Well, Christ's going to put an end to all that. So what is it? It's a bunch of people and a movement that know their time is up. They know the man is back or is coming back in about 5 minutes. There's nothing else we can do. Let's just throw the whole kitchen sink at him and see if it works. That's the devil's hope. That's Leon's hope. That's Greasy Pete's hope. That's Donnie's hope. That's been the hope of how many Satanists from the dawn of time, because they've all the different empires, they tried to rule the world. Even the British Empire tried to rule the world. America pretty much did rule the world, but they're going to make it official. There's a reason why they kept trying to do this over and over again throughout time. The devil is the reason. One world global order. It's been a desire, obviously, of the imp since the beginning of time. He's been trying to do it through various human vehicles. So Armageddon, I look at it this way. It's the last desperate attempt of desperate men, knowing their time is up, knowing what they've done, knowing they've challenged Christ and God directly. I bet the phrases have been uttered in their lives. Ceremonially, I reject the Trinity. I bet they've said that out loud. All of them. When you say that, well, you are literally saying, I am on the opposite side of you now, God. And I choose it. Good luck with that. So Armageddon is their last attempt. They know they're over. They know they go into the lake. They all know the story. Pete knows it. Leon knows it. Donnie knows it. And the imp knows it. They all know the story. So if Christ appeared, oh shit, it's real. We knew it was real anyway, but now our time's up. What do we do? Okay, send all the peasants at him. Send everything we got. Maybe a nuclear missile can hurt God. You're naught but ants in comparison to the man. Do you understand that? Something that created the universe and every being in it. And the imp, his minions here, they think they can take that on? Boy, is that some false hope. And again, it doesn't matter what the cunt devil, cunt Leon, cunt Greasy Pete, cunt Donnie, Antichrist, the cunts that follow. Doesn't matter what you do to anyone. Doesn't matter how intricate and evil your plans are. Doesn't matter how hard you hope and cross your fingers that your imp God will win with you. Nope. Just the lake, son. That's all. Inevitable. Hitler built a ballroom over a bunker, or he wanted to. He didn't actually build it. Hitler wanted an arch, never built. What's Donnie building? A ballroom over a bunker. What else is Donnie building? An arch. Donnie's just gave a little statement about basically saying for the 100th time that he's going to declare martial law and that he's allowed to do it. And what I noticed, whenever Donnie knows he's doing something illegal and wrong and nefarious, like talking about the Insurrection Act or martial law, he knows there's no real legit reason. He knows he's of the devil. He knows he's the Hitler figure. He knows what he's doing is evil. So like a small child, he'll say, I'm allowed to do it. No, you're not. And if we had men in the military at the high ranks, at the top, your ass would be in prison right now just for saying that, son. But we don't. We got cowards. And by cowards, I know they ain't afraid to send young men out on the battlefield to die. I know they ass ain't gonna be out there most likely. What they are afraid of is a fat orange fuckface in a diaper. And the devil. That's what they're afraid of. And losing their house, whatever they got going in life. That's what they're afraid of. And that's why this will play out. I'm allowed to do it. Do you notice how often he says that when he knows he's about to do something illegal and wrong? Just like a child, just like a 3-year-old would. He proves me right daily. So we've got evidence of the spiritual. You've got Pete and Leon, Greasy Pete running around talking about the Antichrist trying to literally throw you off the trail, which is astounding to me. I can't believe there's someone out there doing that. They must be really scared that people are going to figure that Donnie thing out. I'm surprised more haven't. Kirk Cameron, back to him again. This attitude you people in the church have. First of all, you're not in the church. Second of all, you wouldn't know Christ if he slapped you in the face, because you're still stuck in this right is right, or good equals right wing. No, it's actually quite the opposite. The Antichrist equals right wing. That's the vehicle the devil used to make you follow him and do what you're doing right now. The problem is a lot of you are evil just like the devil and Donnie, so you'll never turn away. You're lost causes. Some of you, a few of you, may see the light, though. Most of you won't. That's why you were attracted to it in the first place, son. You are him, he is you. Be it the imp or Donnie. That's it. You saw evil you could empathize with. That's it. That's most of you. A few of you, though, will see the light. Hopefully it won't be too late. Where was I with this piece of shit? I'm allowed to do it. Let's go to that quickly, and then I'll give you the little history lesson, and I'll get the fuck out of here. I didn't mean for this to be this long. This is an audio clip of Donnie tonight. If I want to enact a certain act, I'm allowed to do it. And I'd be allowed to do whatever I want. And the courts wouldn't get involved. No one would get involved. I can send the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So Donnie is telling you straight up for the 100th time that Insurrection Act, that martial law is coming. Be prepared mentally for it. It is coming. It's the only way to go full Reich. It's what Hitler did, the Enabling Act. Donnie's going to do it too. He keeps telling you he's going to do it. And just like a small 4-year-old or 6-year-old bragging with a bunch of other fucking toddlers, I am allowed to do it, and I'd be allowed to do whatever I want, and the courts wouldn't get involved. Nobody would get involved. I can send the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. That's a 3-year-old talking right there. You understand that, right? That's not how an adult talks. That's how someone who is... This shouldn't have to be said after 10. Not right in the fucking head. Has the maturity of a small child. Men do not talk like this. The reason he is talking like this, it's the child admitting to you. He knows he's about to do something horrible, terrible, evil. That's why I'm allowed to do it. I'm allowed to do it. He says it over and over again. Just like a small child. That should scare the living fuck out of you. Even in his small child brain, he knows he shouldn't be doing it, and it's illegal. And that's not what the Insurrection Act, martial law is for. But him and Stevie the Ghoul and Leon and Pete, they got Satan to please and a Reich to build, and that's all they care about. And that's the religion. It wouldn't matter if he was allowed to do it or not, because there ain't a man that's going to stop it. They'll just let him do it. So it doesn't matter. We all know he's not allowed to do it. We all know what the martial law and the Insurrection Act is. And once he does that, then the curtain, the facade will really be dropped. And a lot of people will understand, okay, yeah, he's a dictator. Those liberals that warned me so I could keep my farm, they were right. When that moment comes, when he declares it, the military will have to make a decision whether to go along. They will go along, and whoever doesn't will be fired. That's a foregone conclusion. I'm talking about resignations. Refusal of orders. For your fellow citizens, for the world, for America. Nah, you'd never do that, son, I know. Might get a blemish on your record, not get that next star you're looking for, I know. It's a shame. That means the country's over and so's the world. And you helped it. I don't know. That moment might be a little too late to resign. That's why you all needed to resign that day you had that meeting. That would have sent a very nice message to the whole country, the whole world, and especially the Reich. Every general just said, fuck off. Because any of you that try and do the right thing, you'll just be fired or removed anyway. I don't know what you think you're going to do. I know what you're all really doing. You just want your paycheck. You want to keep your paycheck. I hope it was worth your soul, son. I truly do. So Donnie's straight up like a 3-year-old say, I'm allowed to do it. No, you're not, actually. But no one will stop you because no one's got the balls. I typed in the search. Since Donnie's building a ballroom over a bunker, and I know Hitler and his architect had the same plans, and Donnie's building an arch, and I know Hitler and his architect had the same plans. Literally! I figured I'd do a search. Did Hitler build a ballroom? Well, he was going to, but let's see. No, Hitler did not build a ballroom in Germany, though he planned a massive domed structure called the Volkshalle for his proposed Germania project in Berlin, but it was never built. He also commissioned grand unfinished structures for Nazi party rallies in Nuremberg, such as large Congress Hall, which was also never completed. I have a feeling Hitler didn't have the money until around 1943 to do all this, while the Reich only lasted like another year and a half. So he didn't have time to finish it. Guess what Donnie's doing? Finishing it. Finishing it if I could talk, if I wasn't so fucking tired. Literally. Dome structure, too. Like a mosque or something. Who would the Nazis ally with since their number one enemy is the Jews? Probably the Muslims. Because they just happen to hate Jews too, a lot of them. Just a thought. The Volkschalet. So Hitler had planned to build this massive ballroom thing over the bunker. This was a planned monumental domed building for Berlin conceived by Hitler and designed by Albert Speer. It was never constructed. That was his architect. I read you yesterday or the day before how Mr. Speer's father took a look at the model and the plans, and he said basically his son and his client were fucking insane. Oh, and they were. Are you noticing something, though? There was a plan to turn Berlin into Germania, the capital of the world of the Reich. What is Donnie doing? Altering the capital's landscape, rounding up the homeless via troops, changing the capital, remaking it in his image, tearing down parts of the White House, building the literal ballroom that Hitler was going to build over his bunker, but never got the chance to because the Reich ended too soon. Be funny if this Reich ended before Donnie got to finish his ballroom, wouldn't it? Since all kind of other history's repeating itself, right? What is Donnie doing in essence? He's finishing the work Hitler started. Literally! Hitler wanted to build that ballroom. Now Donnie's going to build it instead as the head of the Reich. Hitler wanted to build that arch. Now Donnie's going to build it as head of the Reich. He's literally finishing what Hitler started. Literally. There's more Nazi evidence, wouldn't you say? I would. It's not similar. Donnie's doing it's like he took Hitler's notes from what he wanted to build and just said, okay, I'm going to build it since Hitler's dead, and didn't get the chance. That's it. That means what? They'll want a world capital just like the old Reich wanted. Just like the devilish tried to do since the beginning of time with the Caesars, the pharaohs, with everybody. Every empire. Tried to make it global. Now it's actually possible with AI, drones, etc. Internet. It's actually possible to have a global Reich now. And have an omnipresent AI. The basics of the plan, Hitler and his architect were going to change Berlin into Germania, the capital of the world. He was going to build that huge ballroom there over his bunker. He was going to build that arch. That was going to be the capital of the world and the Reich. Donnie's plan, obviously, remake DC in his image, change the landscape, get rid of the homeless, make it the capital. I'm wondering if he will make an alternate capital or an alternate throne in Israel. I have a feeling that's where it's going, but since Donnie is putting so much into this DC capital city, maybe he will make that the capital of the world. He's doing what Hitler was doing to Berlin, trying to. Hitler didn't get the chance. The plans were all drawn up, all ready to go. The Reich went from offense to defense, though, during 1943. And the losing was starting. But my point, the reason I'm telling you this, in way too many words, Donnie, Stephen Miller, and the Reich are literally finishing what their Messiah Hitler started. Not kinda, not similarly, exactly. You saw Leon's Nazi salute, Inauguration Day. Are we just going to ignore all these things in the press? Everyone, commentators, everyone. A literal Nazi Reich. A guy who thinks he's Adolf fucking Hitler, the modern version, literally finishing, taking the steps that Hitler wasn't able to. Literally building the structures that Hitler was going to build. I'm sorry, every historian should be yelling. Every political commentator like George Conway should be yelling. They're literally continuing Hitler's work. It's going to go to camps. It's going to go to everything. We already got camps. So we're going to pretend the Nazi salute that Leon did on Inauguration Day didn't happen. We're going to pretend the one Donnie did on the 4th didn't happen. We're going to pretend them all, various members of the Reich, dressing as close as they can to Nazi officers without actually wearing the uniform. The haircuts. Stephen Miller doing a Goebbels impression literally every fucking day. Donnie building the structures that Hitler literally intended to build before he died. We're going to ignore all this shit. The camps, the mass men kidnapping people. We're all just going to pretend this isn't straight up Satanism and Nazism going on right in front of our fucking face. There's something else that Hitler was enamored with. Hadrian's Pantheon. Hadrian, I believe, was one of the ones that put the either a statue in the temple or a temple of Jupiter on the Temple Mount. I knew I would find that. I told you they built a lot of it based on Roman culture, governmental culture. That society. Meanwhile, one of the main monuments mentioned in this information is the Pantheon built by Hadrian that Hitler really liked. I knew I'd find the connections to Rome, and I bet if I went back further, I'd find the connections to Egypt, and if I went back further, I'd find the connections to Satan. Many of the grand projects commissioned by Hitler, such as the Volksschule and the Deutsches Stadion, were never finished. A little bit more info on the Volksschule. I'm almost done. The Volksschule, also called the People's Hall, or the Great Hall, or the Hall of Glory, so you know what Donnie's building, was a proposal for a monumental dome building to be built in a reconstituted Berlin renamed as Germania in Nazi Germany. The project was conceived by Hitler, designed by his architect Albert Speer. No part of the building was ever constructed. The only reason it wasn't made, again, because in 1943, the war started turning against Germany. They didn't have a chance to build the shit, or they would have. So again, Donnie is literally building the People's Hall, the Hall of Glory, the Great Hall. How many nights did these various cunts lay awake? Miller, Donnie, Leon, Thale, others, dreaming of finishing the structures that Hitler had laid out for the German capital of the world. Now they're doing it. Literally. Why is this not being shouted on every news channel by everyone? Yo, Hitler wanted to build that literal ballroom. Yo, Hitler wanted to build that arch too. Why is he acting like Goebbels? Why is Donnie acting like Adolf Hitler and he wants to build the same exact structures Hitler was going to build, as if the Third Reich was an instruction manual? We're just going to pretend none of that's happening. That's going to cost us everything, son. It already has. Too late to go back. I couldn't believe this when I was reading the information. I'm like, he picked up Hitler's info on what he was going to build in his Reich, and looks like killing Jews looks like a good idea. Going after minorities, camps, mass mem. Oh, and I'll build the hall that Hitler intended to build. And I'll build the arch that Hitler, because, this is a Reich, we're Nazis. Again, the evidence of the spiritual that I read you in the notes that I presented to you, evidence of straight up Nazism, literal Nazism. Again, this isn't a comparison. This isn't a similarity. This isn't they're like Nazis. No, they are Nazis. They literally use Hitler's concepts as a religion. They're building the literal structures he was going to build. All right, after this, I'm done, I hope. The arch. I typed in, did Hitler build an arch? No, Hitler never built a triumphal arch. But it was part of his grandiose architecture plans from the city of Berlin, the plan called Welthauptstadt, Germania, World Capital Germania, was never completed due to the start and eventual loss of World War II. So, again, I'm giving you something here. I gave it to you the other day, too. When you're wondering what's going on before your eyes. Why is Donnie building this ballroom? There's a bunker underneath, I heard. Why is he building this arch thing? What? Oh, the Third Reich was going to build those. This is the Fourth Reich, and they're trying to finish what the third one couldn't. Including the exterminations. Including the 1,000-year reign. Hitler tried to turn Berlin, or wanted to turn Berlin, into the capital of the world and remade it in his image as much as he could before he died. Donnie took his plans and said, I'm going to remake DC in my image, just like Hitler wanted to remake Berlin. What does that mean? That means he's going to try and make DC the capital of the world, just like Hitler wanted to. Again, I have a feeling he'll have a second throne in Israel, but that's later. Again, I want you to realize Hitler was trying to rule the entire world. How do I know that? Well, Blitzkrieg, and he wanted to make Germania the capital of the world. That's how I know that. All throughout time, sociopaths want to rule the entire world. Hitler tried, almost succeeded. Donnie will succeed for a while. My point is, that exact plan that Hitler had, that's Donnie's plan too. You're watching it play out. That's why the Guard was deployed in DC, to remake it in Donnie's image like Hitler made Berlin in his image. Donnie going to build the exact things Hitler wanted to be built. He's going to finish what Adolf started. That's what he's doing. So he wants to turn DC into the world capital. That's why there's so much gold in the Oval Office. He's trying to make it a world capital in his little 3-year-old child satanic mind. Same plan Hitler had is the plan Donnie had. So again, when you're wondering what's going on, why is Donnie doing all these weird things in DC? The Arch, the fucking ballroom, the National Guard laying mulch and all this shit, rounding up homeless people. Because he's doing what Adolf was trying to do, remake the capital of America in Donnie's image and make it capital of the world. What did Donnie say to the Atlantic? I run the country. This time I run the country and the world. So, I already read that part. Never got completed due to the start and eventual loss of World War II. Key details. The arch was designed to be 117 meters, 384 feet high, large enough for the Arc de Triomphe in Paris to fit inside its opening. So it was a mockery of the arch in Paris. Germany wanted to make a bigger one and make Berlin the capital of the world. It was meant to be the centerpiece of Germania's north-south axis and would have been inscribed with the names of the nearly 2 million German soldiers who died in World War I. The only physical remnant of the project is the Squerbelastung-Scorper, a massive 12,000-ton concrete cylinder built to test whether Berlin's marshy ground could support the weight of the arch. The soil was not strong enough to support the weight. Construction on the arch, other German projects ceased in 1943 as the war turned against Germany. Hitler's ambitions for Germania died with him in 1945. That brings us to the question again for Greasy Pete and Leon and Donnie and all you RFK, Dr. Mengelaz, all you fucking freaks destined for the lake. How'd the last Reich end up, son? This one's going to end up worse, if you can imagine that. I don't know how anything could be worse than what happened to Germany, my God. This one going to be worse. Because it ain't going to be American soldiers fucking you up this time. It going to be the man, son. I would not want to be you. So literally the two things Donnie keeps talking about, the arc, because he's an idiot, it's really an arch, but I guess you could pronounce A-R-C-H as arc as well. A lot of different languages do that. Some things in English, archangel is spelled that way, or archangel. You can say it either way. So the two literal things Hitler wanted to build for his capital of the world, Germania, Donnie is literally turning the capital of our country into now. Going to build the arch soon, I assume, and the ballroom is underway. Finishing what Hitler started. I can't believe we're all watching it and most of the world is just pretending it isn't happening. And, you know, again, that's why we're going to lose everything, because no one's going to do anything about it. Everyone's going to keep going about their business and pretending it's not happening. I assume they did the same thing in late 30s Germany. Right before our eyes, you have Stephen Miller doing a Goebbels impression every day. You had Leon do a Nazi salute. You have several of them wear the Nazi haircuts, Greasy Pete, Leon, and others. Several of them dress like Nazis. as close as they can. You have the Hitler figure Donnie literally using the Hitler playbook against America, literally taking the projects Hitler was going to do and building them. Literally trying to turn the capital of America into the capital of the world. Now runs the Holy Land. And don't ever forget Leon and his Baphomet crest. If you ever wondered what the MAGA movement, what right-wing conservatism is now, it's Baphomet, son. It's the Nazi salute. It's the death camp. It's the Hitler playbook. Literally. It's the imp. There's no wiggling out of that. You either part of that movement or you ain't. I suggest you pick ain't. For your own good, I get jack shit out of it, son, whatever you do with your life. I just couldn't believe this when I read. Where are the news stories about how Donnie has literally picked up the construction plans of Speer and Hitler and said, yeah, can you build these? No, I'm not a Nazi. What are you talking about? Donnie's heritage, partly German. True heritage, Roman and Assyrian. Again, Nazi salute on Inauguration Day. Donnie building the literal Reich projects that didn't get built. No one points that out. One reporter can't say, hey, I did a 3-second Google search and I see that Hitler was going to build an arch, and Hitler was going to build a ballroom over a bunker and make Berlin the capital of the world and call it Germania. The projects you're interested in, Mr. President, seem quite literally the same. What's up with that? Nah, everyone will just sit back like it ain't happening until the train comes. And then it's too late. It already is too late. It was too late January 20th. You want the real truth. But everyone will just sit back, pretend it's not happening until the train car, or the boat, or the Qatari plane comes to take us to the death camp. Amazing. Amazing Hitler got away with it back in the day. Amazing Donnie's gotten even this far. It's a shame the German military back then, if they just wouldn't have went along, if they, would have had some balls, could have just removed Hitler. And everyone in the country could have basically said to Hitler, we know what you were trying to do. And we're not going to let you do it. I'm sorry. That's what should be happening here. It won't, though. Never. Not what I've seen of humanity. I don't expect anything. I expect the story to play out like it said. Everyone will sit back and just let them do it. And we, the peasants out here, we can't handle it. We have no power. We have no access. Generals can handle it if they only had the balls. But they don't. And they never will. That's life, son. Let me be honest with you right now, son. Since Daddy's telling you a story. It's a harsh reality of this world, son. Most people are going to go along, no matter what. no matter what evil's asked of them. Their paycheck, their livelihood, their, be it the ability to feed their family, their status in life. What's that called? The lifestyle you're accustomed to living to. You're accustomed to living. Excuse me, I'm very tired. Yeah. In fact, it's this bad, son, in my experience. And this is everywhere I go. This ain't one place or the other, whatever. You need to look for something better. No. Don't matter, son. Son, I'm going to be honest with you. I made the mistake of trusting a lot of people in this world that had no business with my trust. Looked at a lot of people as friends, looked at people as good until they showed me they weren't, when I should have assumed they weren't at the beginning. Most people, son, would stab their grandma in the back for an extra biscuit. Do you hear me? That's 9 out of 10, son. Don't ever forget that. I wish when I was your age, son, I wish I would have learned that lesson. It took so many knives before I learned that lesson. And I'm talking about the general population. Just knife after knife, son. Don't ever trust nobody. And always expect, I don't care how many times someone smiles in your face as you go out there. Always expect the knife from them. Don't be surprised when it comes, because it will always come. The reason I'm telling you this, son, is because that's the only reason this story's possible. It's because most humans are that. And some people are just the porcupine that catch all the knives. So again, son, when you're asking yourself, because I know you don't know, you're just a child. When you're asking yourself, well, Daddy, why would the military do all those bad things that the Orange Devil wants them to? Remember what Daddy told you. 9 out of 10, son, would stab their grandma in the back for an extra biscuit, let alone to keep their paycheck, job, pension, and benefits. Son, do you hear me? Never trust anyone. And I mean never. So, son, when you're asking that question, why would the military do that? One more time. Because 9 out of 10, again, 9 out of 10 would stab their grandma in the back. Just to keep their lifestyle, let alone get something extra. That's why all this will be allowed to play out. Anyway, have a wonderful day.